Yeah, here we are. Another Friday afternoon. Oh, look, there's no rear end there. Wonder what happened to that. So, busy week this week. I got it's never that busy around here. I shouldn't say that. I did get the rear end out of it, and it's up on the bench here working on it. I have changed the bearings from that side, stuck them back in, and I've got the bearings changed on this side. Haven't stuck them back in yet. So, the mostly working on the mechanical stuff this week. I've got the front end all put back together, except of course the wheel bearings and brake stuff that I broke. But I've got brake stuff coming. I did fix the other one though. It's all nice and ready to go. And I think next week I'll be able to get the wheel bearings into there. So, here you go, another week at the shop, and I hope you enjoy it. Hit that like and subscribe and carry on watching. You'll see what happened. Bye bye for now. Yeah, now there's the brake rotor. I cleaned it up both sides, so it should be okay and serviceable. I don't feel any ridges or anything in it, so it's likely pretty good shape. Yeah, so here now I'll tool new lips there. I'll take this all apart and fix it up and see if I can do it without ruining the brakes on this one. Yeah, here we go. It's I got this thing in my hand that I got to get rid of there. Time to take off this other side here. See if I can't do it without wrecking it. There, what I'll do is I'll abandon that because I think I'm just going to wreck it. I'll take this tie rod off the way it did the other side. Just have to loosen that right there, which I think is so I'll put this in the vise and get it straight on like I did last time. Maybe I just got lucky the last time, did I? Now, that was 6 minutes of time there. But I'll go ahead and I'll remove that up there. You see, can you see that? There, you can see better now. Up there where the brake line comes down there. I'll take that and move that out of the way. Yeah, so there's the top. So this bolt here, bolt here, bolt here. And the washer, there's a split washer goes on that one. This side here is set up different than the other side was. So the camber was different. I'll have to check into that. Because it's got pushed all the way that way, and the other side was pushed all the way this way. That'll be later on. I'll figure out how to set the camber on it. Camber or caster? Camber? Yeah, one of the two. Anyhow, so that'll be those 3 bolts out, and then the thing drops out. I'll move it over onto the bench. Yeah, so it's back on the bench here. This thing here, I just took out that, where is it? Here it is. The brake line, it broke at the other end. So both of them are, one from each side is broken. I'll make new ones for that, but I have to get, like, that's a bubble fitting at the one end, and the other end is a double flange. So nothing like mixing it all up here. This is kind of a European brake assembly, and uses bubble type flanges, and then the rest of the car seems to be a double flange type thing. Now this part here, I got the bolt out of there, and it must be some sort of tension on it, but I'll give it a couple of whacks with a hammer and see what happens here, because it should just come off there, right? Whoa! Did it ever? That spring had some tension on it. Anyway, there we go, it's out. Yeah, so here it is, the, where am I? So this, you can feel that this is pretty near wore out and a bunch of fluid has leaked. This one's got the proper thing for holding it all together. So this is likely fairly original equipment. That yuck at the bottom there, it's supposed to have a hole at the bottom that lets that stuff out. So I'll see what I can do about figuring that out. Anyhow, now to keep it from rusting inside there. So there, that's apart. Now, get this stuff here apart, I gotta turn the whole thing upside down again. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, so now I've been trying to get that piece out, and to no avail. So, I'll just quit fighting with it on here. I'm just going to break something that way. So I'll go ahead and remove this bar. Then I'll put it in the press over here and see if I can push it up that way. Here's a bit of noise for you. Impact wrenches are great. There, that's got that all out. Well, mostly. That's out. Goes in the box. There's the other one. This is also goes in the box. These are for the hold the brake on. And this thing here gets one more spin and she's out. That's a heavy wrench, that thing. So that piece there has got the tie rod end in it. I'll put that in the press and see if I can make that come out of there somehow or other. That may take a little bit of thinking about that. Anyway, that's where I am for now, and then, whoops, that washer goes there. I thought it went here. Oh, I guess I got to change one on the other side there. So there's the new brake thing. I won't drop this on the ground and wreck it, I hope. So, there we go. I'll get this into the press and see what I can come up with. Yeah, so, excuse me, here's what I did. So there's the old business there. I cut that off, then I'll be able to put something on this back side of it. Otherwise, I would never be able to reach into that back side with in the press. So I'll put something on that back side of it, just a socket. I had one out here. Here it is. So this socket here I'll sit down like that in the press, and then I'll push the pressure on it and see if I can pop that out of there. Anyhow, I'll see what happens. I'll report back. Yeah, there you go. That popped right out of there. It's like a tapered fit thing that goes in there. And it just popped right out on the press, so that's good. This part here, later. That part there, that's a neat piece of metal, so I'm going to save it. I like pieces of metal. There's another piece here somewhere too. This part here, I like that end, so you never know, it might turn into some big piece of artwork. Never know what it might turn into, so I'll save it. Anyhow, now I'll carry on pulling that stuff apart. And do you want to watch that? Well, we can watch it for a little bit and then shut it off after a while, hey? What the hell? And then on this side here, I pound the piss out of it with my cold chisel. And that creates, the chisel goes in and creates a, pushes it down on it. Downward press. See if a couple of pounds will get it. Yep. So that's what it took. A little bit of heat and a few pounds on that. Now last time I had to cut the thing off of there, but that's all right. I need to cut it off maybe anyhow. So that's a 3-pound hammer, I think. 3-pound hammers do the trick. There we go. That's pretty simple. Yeah, that's hot. So that's out. Now, over to the press. See if I can get that. Well, there's a, what do you call it there? I've got to take that out first, right? A snap ring. Got to come off of it. So, there. Let's just see how well this one turns. The other one turned pretty nice. That one makes a little bit of noise in there. I don't know if it's supposed to or not. Now, and this, it's got a bunch of fluid in it, so I'll pour it out there. That seems to have cleared up the hole in the bottom of that. So, that goes down here for now. And then, this comes back on here. I get that snap ring out of there. Burnt rubber. Oh, gotta turn it the other way here. So there's a snap ring right there. I'll put a bit of a magic elixir on it first here. Looks like it was never right in there anyhow. Well, we'll figure it out. Now I had that snap ring tool in my hand this morning. There it is, that thing there. See if it'll do anything. Isn't that so easy? Look at that, it's right off. I don't think it was on right, so that's likely why it came right off. So now I gotta turn off the camera. I'll go over to the press. 12 minutes of that. There, I got that all apart. It was pretty tough. Wait, I got it. Excuse me. Sneezing fit, hey? I had to put the heat to it, and then I had to actually put the bigger press on it because it wouldn't go. And eventually I had the bigger press pressured up and gave it a pound with a hammer on the top, and don't you know that, they released it. So that was in there tight. Now I've cleaned this up. I'll put the new piece in here, which goes right here, and then I'll put the new bushing in there. Then I'll paint it up and let it sit. Yeah, so here we are. That was just about too easy. I put it on the press over there, and then I came over and was prepared to fight with the snap ring, but it just went right in. Snaps right in. And it's all good because when you can turn, like if you hook something into this, you can, whoops, can you see me? I can turn that snap ring. So that means that it's hooked into the right spot there, and it's turning easily. So that's good. Now I'll put this other end in here, and that'll be good. Yeah, now that's all put back together, and it's got your $2 overhaul with the black paint on it. That actually makes it all look pretty good underneath because the other side's all nice and black in there now. Black and a bit of red at the top. So that looks good. Now I'll go back to taking apart whatever's next here. Down here, I guess I got to take apart this business here. I'll get it on the bench. Yeah, so this side here, which I've taken all apart now, I've got the pieces over here. This will split apart in a minute or two. I'll give it a whack with a hammer. That's the bearing, the front bearing out of here. And it looks like this is pretty original. So I'll get this off of here and clean it up. And it hasn't been bashed around quite as much as the other one has. And it doesn't say TR7, so I'm pretty sure that's the one that came with the car on it. So there you go. Yeah, there we are. Everything's got your $2 overhaul here. A little bit of black paint on it to make it look good. I clean them off with a wire brush, and then like a wire brush hooked onto that drill over there. And then after that, then I put a coat of rust paint on them. And it seems to come and hold pretty nice. So that's it for today. I'll let that stuff dry, and I'll get back at it again tomorrow. Yeah, here we go. We'll reassemble the new spring on here, that one there that's wrapped up with the paper on it. Yeah, you can see that. I'll get that out, and I'll put it on here the right way, eh? I'll get the rubber mountings out and see if I can find all the pieces that blew away out there. Yeah, here you go. So here's the rubber mount in there, and then there's supposed to be a bumper here, but I have a bumper. Maybe I'll put it on. The other side doesn't have one because it didn't have one. Anyhow, there's the bumper in there. Whether that's good or bad, there it is. And then this rubber piece mounts on here, and then the gap on it goes right on there on the spring, right? Set law. Then it's supposed to fit into this spring here. There, that seems to be going. Then the next piece, that washer goes on, which had flown over there, and I found it. There's the top piece there. This piece goes on next in there. And then this piece here, see how that tapered thing fits right into there. Goes in there. There's the tapered thing. And I should be able to get this to go down onto the spring. Oops. I'll get my nut out first. This one came with a new nut for up here, but the old nut was in actually the original shape, and so I left it in there. That's how that's supposed to work. Methinks, yeah. And then you can see where the nut goes up here. Whoops. This piece goes in, and it, before I do that, it's got like it's not a complete circle, so it fits on there. Then you're going to hold that when you tighten up the nut up there. So I'll do that again. The inner part here has to fit over that shaft coming up on the shock absorber there. Then this piece you fit it on the way it's supposed to be, because it'll only go on there one way. Then get your nut screwed on there, and then you're good. So that's all. And then I'll take it down like this, get it in the vise so it'll hold it here. Not too tight. Then I'll use the impact wrench on that right there. That right there. There's some good English. I do believe it's a 19 or a 3/4. Here's a 19. We'll see if this will do it. There you go. Ah, always going the wrong way. There, I'll just redo that, eh? You've done it. Some days. I do like to do things twice or three times, eh? So, that. Oh, it could be worse. I could have had to fight with it to get the tension on it. But I didn't have to do that. There we go. Now, back to getting that set up again. There's a clamp thing in here for tubes, if you can get it set up right. There we are. So it's on now. Now, I'll try that once again, will I? That's going the right way. Obviously it's a 17. There, that's pretty tight. So now, I'll just check and make sure that's come through, right? Yeah, so this, I'll show you here. Get this out of here. So down in, yeah, so down right in here, this part here has to come over. There's a shoulder on the top of the that chrome shaft in there. There's a shoulder on top of that this has to slide down on top of, and then make sure that the bolt's gone far enough to get into the self-locking bit there, and we're good. So I'll get a wrench out and just give it a bit of a wrench there. Yeah, so here's a little bit of, wow, news. In here, I started cleaning this out with my, what do you call that thing? It's a, that thing there looks like a Darth Vader weapon, but it's a scaler, it's called. And it takes off all that stuff along here if you go at it for a while. They had, of course, a tar in here, and that was covering up this stuff here, which has got a little bit of a rust through. That part comes in from the engine side, not from the passenger side. So I guess I'll just see if I can cut that out and then put a new piece in there. See what's behind there, if there's any more of it. That's cut and pasting time. So I guess one thing I've learned about this car, anywhere you see that tar stuff, which is in here, that means there was, like there's some right here, I'll get that scraped off. That means there was rust there, and they just covered it over with the tar. So that's the inner side, that's the inner wall of the body. That's the carpeting inside the car, or the undercoating inside the car. And then this is the outer wall here. So I'll bring the car down, get the stuff out from in behind there, see what I can do about fixing this up. Yeah, here you go. I was talking to nothing again. So here I found a little bit of rust color down here, but I've checked it out and it's solid in there. That piece in here goes like this to here. That's the inside, and then this outside piece will come down and overlap it like this is here. So I'll build this one here first, then I'll build that overlapping piece, and then that'll be hopefully done. Yeah, there he is. That's the inside piece in there. And I looked at the other side. I couldn't find any pinholes, but I think I still have a little bit of welding to do up there. Then the next piece on is that little piece just goes across there and creates a outer inner fender. That would be the wall of the car in there. So I'll have to grind that down. I'll do that bit of welding and I'll grind that down. Yeah, now that's all welded in. Now I can go back to what I was doing before I started doing this. So I got a little bit of welding to do right there. I'll put a patch on that, and otherwise we're all right in here. But that's for tomorrow. Yeah, so first snow of the season here this year today. It's raining now, so we interrupt this build here to get the snowblower hooked onto the tractor. That'll happen in there. There you go. Yeah, no, I've always found it's especially helpful to wait until it's wet and miserable and cold before you decide to hook the snowblower on. So I went over with the tractor and pulled it out of the soon-to-be snowbank over here. And I've got it in the shop now, out of the rain, which is coming down on my head, but you know, you got to get soaked first before you can. And this is a yearly event, you know, I think a guy would learn, right? So there's the blower. Now I've never hooked it onto this tractor yet, so I'll see what happens here when I hook it on. I'll make sure everything turns and I'll grease it up before I start hooking it on. Then I'll get it hooked onto the 3-point hitch right there without running into anything else inside the shop here, we hope, and see how things work. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, there it's going. See how that works for the winter. Seems that everything's going all right. I haven't put oil on that chain there. But that's I greased up everything, so it should be okay. Yeah, there, it all fits into the garage, no trouble. or into the shop. The that boat kind of sticks out a long way, so I put the lift up there. I'll have to make sure I don't pull the door down someday. But this tractor's got a cool little thing on here. I'll show you. Like, I was worried about hitting that lever inadvertently, but it's got a, you can lock it. It's got a lock. See, there's the lock on this side, unlock on that side. So you can lock it, and then you can't move that lever anywhere. So that bucket will hold up and won't come down on top of the boat. Now the old tractor, it would have stayed up there for a while, but the system had a bit of a leak in it, so it would eventually come down and rest on the mast of the boat, which I don't think Dennis would be happy with that idea. But this one here is safe. It won't move. Anyway, there you go. Tractor's ready for snow blowing. Like the very first thing, I'll get about 10 feet out and blow that right down in there. Can you see that? Yeah, right down in there. There's a shear pin. That usually goes first thing because it's worn out from last year. So it doesn't take much of a stopper to make that break off. But I went to the store and I bought a bunch of shear pins, so we're okay now. And then this thing here, on the old tractor, this handle got bent like that, and I think on this one here it's safe. It doesn't. It used to be that the tractor would come up and sort of slide in that way, or the 3-point hitch would come up and slide in that way. But on this tractor here, it comes straight up and down. So what I'll do is I'll straighten that thing out and make it right. Yeah, here I am back at it. So yesterday I've got this welded in here, and it's sealed up good. Then this little bit right here, I think I'll just put a patch on that on the outside, because if I try to fit a piece in there, it'll just get rusted out again. So I'll put a patch out, and then all the debris can move on by, I hope. And that gets right into the frame of the car there, so I don't want to dick with it. And then I'll put a little patch on this bit here too. And that's where the fuel line goes into the car. So after that, then I can finish cleaning up this stuff over here, and then I'll paint it all black in here. Yeah, there we go. That's all done for now. I'll go to work on cleaning up the rest of this stuff, and then we'll paint it up, and I'll put the strut back in here. Yeah, there it is. I got that light shining in there. So I painted it all that black, like it's trim clad rust paint. Where is that? That's what I put on everything. Trim clad, semi-luster rust paint. Yeah, there, rust paint. And anything that's still rusty in there gets covered with this, and then that gives it a little bit of help anyhow. Because there's lots of surface rust here and there. And if you cover it up, it'll stop the surface rusting. I hope. Anyhow, that's my theory, and I'm going to stick to it. Yeah, so here's something reasonably interesting. So this is the top of the where the strut goes. So here's the strut in there, right? And then on the top, somebody sometime during the life of this car decided to cut this slot here. So it's on all three of them. You can see the edge of it there. And it's the same on that side over there. So they could slide this over and change the camber, I guess. Is it the camber or the caster? Camber. Change the camber on the suspension that way. Now, I kind of think it was likely because all the rubbers were wore out and everything was kind of not coming together for them. So they did it that way instead of putting new rubbers on. So now I've put new rubbers on. I'll put it back to where it likely came out of the factory, would be that hole there, and then go from there. Yeah, now to get this control arm, lower control arm, into there, it's a real tight fit. So I've put my ratchet strap, hooked it around on here to this side of it, and then I've hooked it around on there. That side is already solid, so it's not going to go anywhere. And then you just go along, and maybe we'll might get some action here. So you just give the ratchet strap a couple of pulls and the thing goes, give it a little bit of a twist back and forth and it seems to go in. As long as it doesn't get caught on this thing underneath here. Well, it's a kind of a two-handed event here now. So that's the idea anyhow. Yeah, where am I now? Here I am. So I've got the bolt through it now. Now to get that bolt lined up is a little bit of a task. So I have one of these, a center punch that's pretty good. You just push it through the hole and give it a tap with a light tap with a hammer and it kind of centers everything. Do that from both sides and then lo and behold the bolt goes through. So I just got to put the nut on it and tighten it up and we're set to cruise again. If I can turn off the camera. Yeah, there now, that's bolts through there and tightened up. That's the lower control arm. And then I ordered a new tie rod end for it, which I put on and getting it ready to go. This is a new ball joint down here, lower ball joint, and new springs and new, whatever you call that, strut shock absorber, right? So anyhow, Bob was out here the other day and he said, well, how do you know what to order? And I see now that's a new brake line, hey? So I say anything that's got rubber on it, you pretty well need new. So all these mounts on here are rubber. This was rubber in that part of the tie rod. Rubber down here was all wore out, and so was that ball joint. These rubbers in here were wore out, and there's rubbers. There's a control arm, or what is it, stabilizing arm that goes from here and across the other side and bolts in here, and the rubbers in there I've got new for that. And the same in the back. There's in here there'll be new rubbers in here behind here and new rubbers up there. So can't see much, see? That light's not plugged in anyhow. Anyway, can't even see that. Maybe I'll go on this side, maybe in better luck. Yeah, so here, this is the rear link suspension. So up on that part of it right up there, there's rubbers go in there, and the back here there's rubbers that go right in there. So I'll get them, and I have new springs for the back here also. And these springs that came, they lower the front end a bit. I think they're about the same for the back end, but the front end will sit a bit lower, so it might be a kind of a cool looking stance when it's all done. Then, so I don't order too many parts for the motor until I really know that it's needing parts. But I wanted the running gear to be good. And then like the motor and the transmission and the clutch and all that, I really have to go out in a road test and see what's going on with that stuff. Same with the rear end. You can't, diagnose it unless you take it for a drive. So that'll wait until later. If it needs that kind of stuff, well, we'll get to it later. But that's how you figure out what to order for starters. Wow, that's how I figure out what to order for starters. Another thing I usually get is wheel bearings, because, chances are wheel bearings front and back are 1980 cars, so they'd likely be slightly wore out. And then I looked at the linkage for the drive shaft and decided not to do anything about that. I did get new motor mounts for it, as you are aware, because this one here was actually broken. And so if you're going to get one, you might as well get three. There's one there, one over there, and one underneath the transmission. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about that for now. Yeah, there you go. So this is tightened on, new tie rod end. I haven't tightened this yet because it needs to be adjusted somewhere down the road. Then this is the backing plate for the brakes. That hose is on there now, hooked onto the brakes again. So now what will I do next? Maybe I'll get that control arm. Is it a control arm or anti-sway arm? It's some sort of an arm that goes across here. Maybe I'll get that out and see if I can make it fit again. Yeah, so here's the sway bar. Now I've got everything off of it there. And here's what it looks like before you get everything off. There's a nut on it, this cup washer, 2 bushings, another cup washer, and then there's this rubber bushing up here, another washer, and then this thing here. But I'm not going to take that off because I don't think I have to. So I'll have to clean this all up, see if I can get the new pieces on, because the old piece came off, but it was fairly wore out, so easy to get off. This one here fits pretty tight, and it's fiber, so it's tougher. Might take some thinking about it. Anyway, I'll get to work and clean it up. There, it wasn't as tough as I thought it would be, but it wasn't that easy. So anyhow, the way to do it, you see all these curves. There's a curve there. So when you get to the curve, you want to have this flat side on the top of the curve. So this curve here, can you see that flat side? See how it is there? So for this curve coming in, I want to put the flat side there, and that'll make that so it stretches. Is that how I did it? Yeah, I think so. And then I just tap it with the hammer. I've got this washer on here. The washer should be there. So I guess that has to come off. Boy, do I ever like doing stuff twice. Hey? Okay, I'll do it. Yeah, there you go. It's on there now. So that this should be the upside that goes against the bottom. Figure it out soon. I don't know if it goes underneath. Yeah, it must go underneath there somehow or other. Because it hooks into these 2 holes here. Whoops, where am I pointing? These 2 holes here. So it hangs on there, goes in there, hangs on here. And then that would be the upside on the flat there. Anyway, that's one side done. Now I'll get this, I'll leave that for now. I'll see if I can get the other side apart. Yeah, there we are. This, what have I got here? That's cleaned off pretty good. And then I've got this, that stuff there. So I rubbed it with that, and that takes off all the grease and anything like that. So I'll give it a bit of a paint, and then I'll let it set overnight, and then I'll put it back together tomorrow morning. So, well, tomorrow afternoon, whenever I get back to it. Yeah, there it is. I painted up. I'll let it dry overnight now, and then put it into the car tomorrow. So, we're all set, closed down for the day. It's supper time, or time to go and think about supper. What will it be tonight? I don't know. Figure it out when I get in there. So, there you go. See you tomorrow, I hope. Yeah, there it is. That's all set to go now. And you can tell, like, a lot of these companies used to make bicycles, because that looks like a set of handlebars. Anyway, and then there's these holders here that somebody had painted all black. They're supposed to be nice, like just clean aluminum. So they'll go, and then I'll get set up to, I'll put the ends on that thing, and then I'll see what I can come up with here. Yeah, so of course, nothing's very easy. So I've got this end here into the, can't see that, can you? Oh, I just pounded my head on something. So there, I've got this end here into where it goes right there. Then I've got this strap going from there to there, just like a, whatever you call those, ratchet strap. Put a pair of vice grips here and a pair of vice grips down there to keep it from sliding. And then it has to go in to that hole there, but it's got a ways to, it's going to be under tension, which is, I don't know how I got it out of there. I think I pulled and heaved on it to get it out, but everything was wore out when I was taking it apart. So now I'll tighten up that ratchet strap and see if I can get it to go in there. Yeah, so now I've got that in there, And I sort of have to, we'll see how it comes. I might have to do more ratcheting on it to get it to come into that spot there, but we'll figure that out. The this end here, I'll get the other piece on it and the nut on it, just for starters, then I'll see what I can do about getting the rest of it adjusted up. Yeah, there I've got the one side on, and it went on not too badly. A little bit of, like I used my my transmission hoist to push it up into place. And that one there's got a bit more to go, so I'll pump up the transmission a bit more. See what happens. I don't want to lift the car off of the hoist, but there I can see a nut coming through here, so I'll put a bolt on there, and that one there I can pound down. So I think I'm all right. I'll just get a couple of nuts on there and then I'll release the hoist. Yeah, there we're all back together again underneath here. These things are all tightened down and everything's in the right place and it seems to fit right. So, you know what I say, if it looks right and feels right, it must be right. So it must be right. Everything looks pretty good here too and solid, so I'm happy with it. That should hold together quite fine. Yeah, so I'm in the throes of repairing the brake caliper on the passenger side now. I've got it all apart and I've cleaned it up. And you've seen all this happen before, so you don't need to see it happen again. I took the pistons out of that other one over there, the one that I broke, and the new one has new pistons coming. So it's fortunate I only ordered 2 pistons. Yeah, there we go. That one's all together and painted up. Not painted down. I'll have to reach underneath there and get a little bit more. But I won't take it out of there until it dries a little bit, because last time I did that, I dropped it on the floor. Yeah, that's about as far as I can get with the front end for now. This is the sway bar is back on, or whatever they call that. I think it's a sway bar. Control arms are back on. All the springs are back in. And stuff like that. So maybe I'll go to work on the back end of it. I have to change the configuration on the lift a little bit to get the back end up, because I've got it hanging on the suspension there. Anyway, I'll figure that out.